Thank you all so much for tuning in today. It's so wonderful to see all of you here. I'm really excited to dive into this event all about how to create and run a hugely profitable website for your brand. So we're going to cover how to increase website traffic and decrease ad spend, how to increase conversions and drive more reach, and how to help your customers find you and work with you. So a core goal of Dreamers and Doers is to amplify you and all of your journeys. And intimate educational sessions like today's, filled with insights thanks to your fellow members like Katharine, are really the perfect opportunity for us to all up-level together. So before we officially begin, I want to share a bit of background information on our esteemed expert today, Katharine McKee. After a 16-year career building digital commerce capabilities for companies in pillars like CPG, luxury, beauty, and apparel, Katharine founded Morphology Consulting, a digital commerce consultancy that creates long-term profitable growth by optimizing for algorithmic systems online. As a Forbes Next 1000 honoree, Katharine has overhauled the digital commerce capabilities of more than 50 brands, including Fortune 500s like Coty, Luxottica, and IPG media brands, and has sustainably increased revenue up to 600% year over year. We are so excited to learn from your expertise today, Katharine. Thank you. We know how valuable your time is, and we're so grateful to you for investing in the Dreamers and Doers Collective in this way. I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm also going to let everybody know who's here today that we're going to do a question and answer session at the end of the event. So any questions that crop up throughout the event, you can hold until the end, and we'll have space to do Q&A then. And I'm going to pass it over to you, Katharine. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Be helpful to come off mute. Thank you. So excited to be here. I love these events. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about getting your websites more traffic and more money. So let me share my deck and we can get started. Okay, so thank you for the wonderful intro. Super excited to talk to you about this. This is one of my most favorite topics. It's my most favorite thing to help women specifically, but people in general make more money online. So that is the goal of the presentation. Also, they sent through the questionnaire that everyone filled out, and like 98% of people were like, how do I get more traffic for free? So we're in the right place. Why should you listen to me? We'll make this quick. I've been in digital commerce for a really long time. Thank God the internet took off, I guess. So I'm a one-trick pony. I've been doing it for about 17 years. Teams, tech stacks, systems. It's all profits-based, really. So all the functionality that we do for clients now and all my previous roles were really profitable growth. So 300 million in incremental online revenue, but profitably, right? So like a lot of people post a lot of big numbers and they don't really have any take-home pay. So what we're working on is how are you getting actual money in your cash flow? I'm a Think with Google Council member since I'm going to talk about Google today, and I've been an Amazon partner for about 14 or 15 years. Not talking about them today, but just in general, the bona fides. We are talking about increasing your website's profitability. So hopefully at the end of this call, you will take away actual actionable tasks to increase your traffic, increase your conversion, and improve your margins. This is really kind of why we're having the conversation. There's a lot of chatter around CAC constantly rising. So CAC is customer acquisition cost, and it's essentially how much money you need to spend to get someone to make a purchase from you. It is true the CAC is constantly rising. It is true that buying traffic is getting more expensive. Those are choices. There's a lot of kind of not great advice or some very popular best practices that aren't actually true. So they end up being kind of like hacks rather than how to use the system. And fundamentally, a hack is going to be very expensive. You are always going to be better served using the efficiency of the tool than trying to get around it. So not everything is pay for play, which is kind of nice. The way we treat it now is that it is, but it's really not. A lot of your traffic should be free. The vast majority of it should be free because people want what you're selling. They want your service. They want your good. You built a great thing. They just can't find you. So what we're going to talk about is how to set your website up in such a way that Google can find you. And when I say Google, I also mean like DuckDuckGo and like Howling Wolf and Bing and Yahoo. All the search engines fundamentally work the same. Because probably you feel like you have to be online. And if you're in this call, you probably want to be online. So how do we make this better? Quick background, everyone is online. So that is a really good place to put your stuff. 80% of the US population, or 263 million people as of 2023, shop online. They shop online is the 80%. So roughly 99% of people look at stuff online. Not everyone makes a purchase online. So the 80% is people who make a purchase online in the last year. But 55% of those people prefer shopping online over in store. That doesn't mean instead, that Sometimes these quotes are worded a little weird. It usually means in addition to, but it can often mean that it's more efficient, it's faster, they like it better. You can do it in the middle of the night if you want to. 55% of people. It's a $1 trillion industry. We broke $1 trillion in 2022, which was up 11% from 2021. Truthfully, growing like that after 2020 being such an insane year is really a fundamental shift in the way that people want to get things. People who weren't really into shopping online before are into shopping online now. And a lot of people sort of learned that they could get information. They could find the thing that they wanted. They didn't have to go in store and like see if it was in stock. So that has been a very big fundamental shift in where people are going for information. It is compared to 7 trillion dollars total in US retail sales in 2022. So that is a really big chunk. We went from being about 1% to being about 17% pretty quickly. Conversion rate, though, is really low. It's really low globally, which is 3.4%, and it's slightly higher in the US at 3.6%. Conversion rate online should be closer to about 20. I recognize that that's probably not true on most websites, but it should be. People who are shopping online or looking for things online are not browsing. They are looking for a solution to a problem that they have or to find information. They are already in the funnel, so to speak, and they are trying to find an answer. So conversion rate should actually be much higher online than it is in store. So that 3.6 is why you have to pay for traffic, essentially. The next one is an important one. Bounce rate is really high. The average global bounce rate is 42%, which is appalling, but it's 47% in the US, which is just a ghastly number. So I want to talk about bounce rate for a second. Bounce rate is a measurement of the percent of time that people come to your website and immediately leave. So that means that they looked at one page. So whether an ad brought them to a PDP or to a category page or a landing page, whether a search brought them into your homepage or to a landing page, however they got to their website, they got to the page you drove them to and immediately turned around. So 47% of people are in the wrong place or feel like they're in the wrong place. Having a high bounce rate fundamentally means that someone got there and was like, oh, this isn't what I wanted, and left. That's different from exit rate. Exit rate means that someone came to your website and they completed an action that did not include purchase. A high exit rate can often mean that people are learning, that they're on your website and they're looking for information. They go to another page, they take a quiz, they go through your navigation, they add something to cart. Even if they don't purchase and they leave after they completed an action, the vast majority of time, that is a good thing. Because it means that you engaged them in some way. They wanted some information from you, they tried to find it, they made some decisions, they looked around. A small percentage of exit rate does often include people who couldn't figure out your website. And so they like clicked around a little bit, what I like to call like the grandma test, which was that they weren't sure what they were looking at and they had to try a couple times and then left frustrated. This is a very large chunk of what a search engine measures when someone is on your website, the bounce rate and the exit rate. They measure all kinds of things, but I think it's really important to call out that sometimes the discourse is, should a website be for a human or for the search engine? They're not different. A search engine is measuring human behavior. So when a search engine has rules of engagement, it is around what people actually wanted. And I think that this is often one of the biggest hurdles when we talk to brands, which is that you may have an incredible thing. Maybe your website is stunningly beautiful and you put so much time and effort into the branding and everything is perfect and it's totally dialed in. Your customer might not care. So often what's going to happen is that a search engine also won't care. If it doesn't matter to your customer, it doesn't matter to the search engine. And that is a very big part of where you get your quality score from a search engine is, did the customer find what they wanted? Did they get to your site and complete the action that they should have done on that site? If you are a seller of things, did they buy something? If you write a blog, did they read the article? Did they do the action? What we want to make sure that we're doing is not conflating great things from other spaces into your website. The point of your website is to help people get the information they need to make a purchase from you. So essentially, like, how did we get here? How did this happen? If 50% roughly of people are getting to websites and leaving immediately, why? What is happening? Most websites don't have any information on them. And that is, I think, the first biggest disconnect, is that what is true for being very successful in store is not true for how you'll be successful online. And there's an added layer that in a wholesale relationship, it's fairly adversarial, You and Nordstrom don't really share a goal. Like you do both want to sell that bottle of eye cream, but you both want the other one to work for it. You both want to get the most by doing the least. So it ends up being like a kind of friction filled, difficult relationship where you're functionally trying to do the least amount of work to get them to do more work. It also makes you not trust the system because you shouldn't trust your wholesale partners. They are definitely trying to get more margin out of you. You need to kind of like stay ready so that you don't need to get ready, right? Like it's an important part of that relationship. That's not true online, but that behavior is a hundreds of years old learned behavior that you shouldn't trust the system, that the system is out to get you, that the man is out to get you. Google's not, but that emotional state of I don't want to do what Google is telling me to do. I want to like get around it somehow and like get past it or like sneak one past them is a really deep intrinsic feeling in a lot of people. And media doesn't help, discourse doesn't help. There's a lot of like Google's out to get you kind of stuff. They're definitely not, but it's hard to break that emotional hold. This second part, and this is a really big one that I think sometimes is tough to absorb, is that brands want to function as tastemakers rather than solution providers. And that is a mistake. The old model where you get what you get and you don't get upset kind of vibe of retail where like, I'm probably dating myself, but like my grandma used to joke that like, what are the hemlines going to be this season? Because you only bought what was available. Unless you sewed your own clothes, you were being told what to buy. You only buy what's in the grocery store because that's what's available. So a brand would tell you what was cool. A retailer would tell you what was cool. That's not true anymore. And it's really not true online, where someone is coming to your store, to your brand to get the thing that they already need. Lululemon did not create yoga. They have nice workout pants, which is amazing. But someone was doing yoga, had a problem, didn't want their butt to be quite as swampy and wanted better pants and sought out the pants. Lululemon didn't do any of that. They didn't make anybody buy. Their marketing did not make anybody buy. The people wanted something and they went out and found it. The way you want to position yourself to get the most traffic online as a solution provider, because the person already knows, they already know what they need. And I will say this, I'll probably repeat this many times. What is true for a website is not necessarily going to be true for like your ads. It's not going to be true for commercials. It's not going to be true for Instagram posts. It's not going to be true for influencers. The way in which you functionally use content needs to be different for each channel because the needs are different in each channel. So this is for your website or for like your e-retail partners. So what does Google want then? If Google's not out to get you, what do they want? The functional point of Google, first of all, is not to sell ads. The second part is that they are there to organize data. You want to think of Google the way you think about like a library, basically, which is that in the olden days, if you wanted the answer to a question, you had to find someone in the village who knew the answer, or you had to like manually read every piece of paper wherever it was and like hope you landed on it. And slowly we organized stuff. We put it into buckets, we put it into shelves. It made it easier so that when you go into a library, you don't go through every single book. You go to the history section, then the American history section, then the Revolutionary War section, then the like women's jobs in the Revolutionary War, and you find the one book you need. Google is doing the exact same thing at scale. Whatever you query, whatever you ask Google for, Google wants to find and give you, and they want it to be 100% correct. The best case scenario for Google is that there is one right answer. The reason for that is that humans expect one right answer. When I say best Thai food near me, I only mean the one place that's good, that's near me, right? I don't need 45 Pizza Hut ads because I'm not looking for pizza. I want the best Thai food place near me, and there's not more than one. Google understands that. And again, back to search engines are measuring what humans want, what they're looking for, and how they behave. We want one answer. You never want a search engine results page with a million results on it because that's crazy and it's boring. On real life, though, what actually happens is that only 34% of searches end in a click, meaning somebody queried something. Only 34% of the time are they like, oh, maybe that's the right answer and click it. 66% of the time, nothing happens. Like they leave Google or Bing. They stop looking. Like the search engine results page were so bad that they're like, yeah, none of this is what I'm looking for. And this information controls for things like snippets and knowledge graphs. So this is not like you wanted to know when Target was open. This is you asked a real question and Google didn't know the answer. So it gave you like its best guess and they were all bad. And I know this has happened to all of us, probably like this morning, right? Like search engine results pages right now are disgusting. It's really hard to find what you want, which is weird because Google has all the information in the known universe like organized. So it should be pretty easy. It's not because a lot of websites don't have information on them. So Google doesn't know what you offer. I'm going to do this part quick. You've probably seen this a million times, so just in case you haven't. This is the functional loop of how a search engine works. All search engines, I am talking about Google, but Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, all of them work functionally the same way. There's 3 steps, and then it just repeats it ad nauseum. There is a crawler, which is where we get the World Wide Web being like a spider from. It's a small piece of code that just walks around the internet and looks at everything. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it just looks at everything. As it's looking and absorbing information that we give it, it is collating that information so that it can put you in an index or several indices. And what that means is the crawler came to your website, it read everything on the website, and it was like, oh, I get it. This is a organic skincare brand, and it has eye cream, and it has face cream, and it has sunblock. Great. You're going to be in the index for organic. You're going to be in the index for skincare. You're going to be in the index for, I don't know, like locally sourced ingredients, sustainability, whatever it was you were talking about, that's going to be your index. You shouldn't have that many. Your website should only have a couple real basic things that you should be known for on it. Once you've been indexed and you're put in your place, sometimes a couple places, what happens then is that someone will make a query and the search engine will retrieve your index as the answer. So back to my earlier example, if I say best Thai food near me, I told the search engine the 3 indexes I wanted it to look in. I wanted best, which is things that are highly rated. I wanted Thai food, which is Thai food. And I wanted near me, which is, in my instance, a 1/4 mile of my IP address. So what happens now is that the retrieval system goes back to the indexes and it dumps out those 3. It dumps out good, it dumps out near Katie, and it dumps out Thai food. What Google wants to happen, and what you want to happen, what I want to have happen, is that there's only one that's in all 3 buckets. So we 100%, 10 out of 10, we got the right answer. It's this. Anyone who's ever Googled anything before knows that that is not usually what happens. But that's what Google wants, and that's what we want, right? We want just the correct answer. Like you should know where it is, and I can't remember the name, so go look it up. I will tell you that in the Thai food place that's near me's instance, I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately, ever, which is why I Google it all the time. But their website is just a PDF of their menu. Google has no idea because it can't read an image, and a PDF counts as an image. So when Google's crawler got to that website, there was nothing on it. It's just a gray rectangle. So when I'm like, hey, Google, where is the best Thai food place near me? It's just like, there's no Thai food near you. Do you want to go to Dunkin' Donuts? And I don't. And also I can see the Thai food place from my window. So like I know it's here, but Google doesn't know it's here, meaning they are not getting any web traffic. They likely only subsist on ads, which is really the scenario that a lot of brands are in because Google cannot read your website or cannot read enough of your website to give you an answer. This is one of my scariest and favorite stats. This is from Google specifically, but less than 2% of clicks go to paid. Less than 2%. So the idea that you can buy the traffic, that you're going to place ads and that is what will drive all the traffic to your website is very expensive and also not true. The subset of people that are willing to click on an ad is real tiny. And they're not usually people that want to buy anything from the ad. The psychological state of a person who is like, oh, this is an advertisement, that's what I want, and clicks on it is teeny tiny. So what's happening is 98% of your traffic should be organic per Google. 98% of people who query something, who click on something, skip the ads and go to an organic placement to figure it out. That's where your traffic should be coming from. I realize it's not. I realize it's probably less than 30%, if that, of your traffic comes from organic, but it's supposed to be the vast majority. So how does Google work then? Like, how are you supposed to get a good organic rank so that people can find you so that you can get the traffic without paying for it? How Google specifically works, and the other search engines are similar, but this is Google specific, is that when you post in your query and they go to get the return, they go through a series of steps to see what the right answer is. And the first one is that all search engines are for human behavior. So in all of the algorithmic structure, the coding is like, what would the human want? For Google and for the other ones too, but Google specifically, they severely limit what they will return. They're only going to give you back enough returns that a human being could conceivably read and parse within about an hour. It depends on the category, but it's about an hour. I recognize no one has ever done that, but that's where Google's cutoff is, that they're not expecting you to look harder than an hour. So that means that not everyone's going to make the cut. How they decide who makes the cut is that your website itself gets a quality rank and a relevancy to the query rank, and then it puts them in order. So how close to 100% are you? The closer you are to 100% to the query, the higher you are on the page. A very big part of Google's algorithm is how vehemently and consistently they remove spam. Spam is going to include any of the tactics you've ever heard of, any of the keyword stuffing, any of the have a blog on a page that's not a blog, conquesting keywords, any of sort of the like really long tail keywords, any sort of the like tricks that are often talked about in many digital marketing circles for how you can get around Google's algorithm. Google can see you. You're right in the middle of the internet, so they can see you. So they map people doing that, brands doing that, and then they punish them. And they punish them within updates. So an update to an algorithm doesn't change the algorithm, but it sits on top of it. So I often describe it like a road. Like if you were a city and you put in a road today, point A to point B, trying to make it easier for people to get wherever they're going, there's sort of a base assumption that like no one's going to speed and that everyone who's on the road has a driver's license and then they know how to use it and they know to like be normal and not do a U-turn into traffic and not hit anybody and not stop short and not act crazy. Anyone who's ever driven a car knows that that is not how roads work. And so what the city has to do then is add updates to the road. It's still a road, but they need to put in like a speed limit sign, a stop sign, a traffic light, paint the lines on the road so you stay where you're supposed to be, maybe add police presence if that's really necessary. All of those are the same way that a Google update will work, which is like, please stop doing this weird stuff to people. And if you won't stop doing it, we will just punish you. We will take more and more traffic away from you. Back in the day, a lot of them were written around like phishing scams, which is why you need to have a high quality score and a high relevancy score. You can't have one or the other for them to get a rank. Today, a lot of it is around the helpful content update, which is essentially that you need everything on your website needs to be human first. So, like the long form example of you are reading a recipe blog and you are trying to figure out what degree to heat the oven. And like the long running joke is that you need to read 40 paragraphs about someone's grandmother's like flower garden in the 40s before they will be like, it's 425, right? Search engines watch people Google how to roast a chicken and then scroll, irritatedly scroll. You're definitely not reading any of this. You are annoyed and you are trying to get to the degrees for the oven. Google has mapped that behavior. It's not helpful. All of that chatter about the grandmother, not helpful. And they can see what the point of it was, right? Like you were getting long tail keywords and it was a more humanizing story and it's probably nice to talk about. And again, like best practices for digital marketing, except humans don't like it. So we think we're being humanizing. We think we're being like, who doesn't want to hear about my Nana? Honestly, my Nana is wonderful and I'm sure you would want to hear about her. But in real life, you probably don't. And a search engine is watching all of you be like, no, I'm good. For me, I'm like, but my Nana's amazing. Of course you want to hear about her. There is a cognitive and emotional disconnect there where like, I think it's human because I love my Nana. Nobody on this call probably cares about my Nana. So if I'm trying to give you digital marketing advice for your website, but first I make you read 8 paragraphs about my Nana, one, you're not reading them. 2, it's incredibly annoying. And 3, it took you a long time to get to the useful thing I'm talking about. Google maps all of that. So they've been rolling out more and more changes. The helpful content update came out a couple of years ago. They're getting a lot more strict about it now, which is that you can't be doing that stuff. You need to have your website be true to whatever the purpose of your website is. So if you sell skincare, say, you can't have a blog on your website because your website is a selling stuff site. It's a commerce site. That's not a blog. Things that are blogs are things like real, actual, like Tumblr blogs, and like the New York Times. A newspaper is a blog. It's a place where you are scrolling articles that are ranked by date. That's what people want on the New York Times. It's not what they want on your website where you are selling like dog collars. You want to keep that in mind when you're structuring your site so that Google doesn't needlessly punish you. So and it's, in fairness, this is actually a very difficult hurdle to get over, but what your customers want may and probably is fairly different from what the owner wants or the brand director wants. And you need to make sure that you keep those separate because the point of a website is to give customers information and Google is watching you. So this is just a quick one. Don't rely on paid to save you. It's honestly too small of a number. So trying to pay for traffic and get those 2% of people to buy your thing rather than the other thing is going to be very expensive. The other part, and this is important, is that Google ads technically are punitive. So when you are bidding on an ad, Google, Meta, and any of the other ad platforms, before they give you your bid structure, the floor and the ceiling of what you should bid. They take a look at your organic rank. The difference in your organic rank between 1 and 100 is what you have to pay them before you can do a base bid. So that means that if your website is not clear on what it is, and you are trying to say buy, use a dog collar example. You're trying to buy like dog collar and like cute dog collar, whatever your keywords would be to bid on for ads, but your website is all JPEGs. Google doesn't know that you sell dog collars. They can't tell. They got to your website, they saw a folder of gray squares, and they were like, you can still buy the ad, but you need to buy back the difference between what you said you do and what they can prove you do. That gets very expensive. So on top of just getting you organic traffic, the better your organic rank, the cheaper your ads will be when you choose to run them. And hacks are a great way to lose money. This is something that says a lot. I know they're a tale as old as time. If anything seems too good to be true, it is. If anything seems too like easy or silver bullety, it's not real. And I will probably say this a couple times here in this presentation. I also am going to make statements like everyone should take down your pop-ups, because you absolutely should. Pop-ups are terrible. Customers hate them. They're psychologically damaging, all the reasons. However, if you run like an escape room or a haunted house or a Halloween store where your customers like jump scares, then you should leave your pop-ups right where they are, because your customers do like them. So as with anything that's sort of giving advice, the real true north is your customers and what they want and what they expect. There are rules of engagement within that for the system, but it's not ever going to be 100%. Nothing is 100% for everyone. And you do really want to make sure that customer first is how we're approaching it. Okay, how does Google rate your site then? What you get from organic rank is a quality score, which is 50% of your score, a relevancy score, which is the other 50%, and the way that they measure it is your site structure. So what goes into your quality score are website things. So like, how fast does it load? How easy is the user experience? Is the user interface easy to read? Are you ADA compliant? Do you have a secure hosting platform? Do you have a secure domain? Do you have secure checkout? Is it a good website? Relevancy is to the query. So relevancy is not necessarily going to be a stable measure. It's relevant to your customers who are looking for you. So how closely do you match the query, and how often do people pick you as the answer to that query? This needs to be information embedded on your website in text form. So this is not images. You don't get credit for images. Humans also can't tell what an image is without context. So you need to explain what everything is. Visually, not hidden in a meta tag stuff too, but like, you definitely need there to be words on the page so people are like, oh, got it. This is what I'm looking at. Now, site structure. A search engine reads a website the way a Western person reads a book, which is top, left to right, top to bottom, first page to last page. So exactly the way you read a book is the way a search engine is reading your website. The most important stuff is first. So when a search engine is like, what am I looking at here? That first section, that like A1 upper left-hand corner, weighs more than the bottom right-hand corner. So Google's not going to try that hard. Their crawlers only have so much capacity. They're not reading every single page of your website, one. Two, if it's not really clear at a certain point, they're just going to give up. You need to be really clear above the fold to the left on your website of what you do that a crawler can read, and that my grandma can read, and that a human can read, literally read. So like, not an image, actual copy of like, this is what you're looking at. Okay, top 3 things to improve traffic. You want to get rid of distractions on your site. So this is part of that big human first, what does a person want from your website? Take down your pop-ups, unless you have a customer who does love being scared. Pop-ups on average of my clients, so this is not a global average, this is the couple hundred brands I've done this for, they're usually worth less than 0.5% of revenue. The type of person who likes to give their email for 10% off is either a marketer who's testing their Klaviyo, or it's someone who really likes to collect coupons. They're very, very, very rarely going to be a high LTV customer. That doesn't mean don't get emails though. You should still get emails. Likely email will be a productive channel for you. Just don't get it in the most annoying way possible. Ask for their emails in other places without like jumping in front of them. Videos, brand videos. This is always very contentious. No one watches your brand video, not even your mom. No one watches it. Take them down. Take them down. They're probably beautiful. You probably put a ton of effort into them. I bet they're amazing. Use them on social. Use them in ads. Use them in a place that someone wants to consume that type of content, because those platforms exist, but it is not your website. A brand video, one, isn't helping me make a decision at all. And two, and more importantly, in the way that I look at things, they're very heavy files and it takes a really long time to process and load the website. And that is going to really damage your quality score. So you're going to give up traffic to load a video that no one's going to watch. You really want to measure it out. Again, if you have the world's greatest video and that is how you get 100% of your clients, and that video is the reason that you make any sale and you have measured that and tested that, then leave the video. If that's not true of you, take the video down and put it somewhere else, right? Like don't scrap it, just don't put it on your homepage. Chat bots. Unless you are a doctor, you don't need a chatbot. Chatbots, 90% of the time on commerce sites are used for tracking numbers. So the answer to that is not put chatbots are also very heavy. So you don't want to give up traffic again for a lower quality score for something no one's going to use. If people are asking you a lot for their tracking number, you need to send better tracking number emails. If they're asking you for product information, which in fairness, I have literally never seen, but in case they do, it needs to be on your website. The person looked for that information and couldn't find it and then asked the chatbot. You don't need a chatbot for that. You need to put the information on your website so they can read it in a place that they will read it also, because I also have seen plenty of websites that have great information, but it's like buried. The person didn't read that far. The search engine didn't read that far. The useful information, put it up high so people can find it. People first content. This is something that, so Google has released a bunch on this lately, and like, God bless these poor devs who are freaking out. The only content you should post should be what your customers will want. Your customers are going to be a very specific cohort of people. There is no best practice here. There is no everybody should do X. What your customers want from you is what you should be giving them. So I was on the helpful content update release call the other day with Google, and they were commenting that what will happen is that they will say something like, if your customers want an author bio, if you sell books and your customers want an author bio, you should put an author bio. And people will leave a meeting and be like, everybody has to have an author bio. That's not true. Probably you don't need bios anywhere. What do your customers want? Because it's only going to be valid if your customers want it. This is, I mean, it's not even that simple. It's not an easy task, fully aware of that. Like this is something that takes a lot of deep dives. A great place to start is your product reviews, your customers, your competition's product reviews, your customer service logs are a great place for it. People love to complain on those. Kind of walk through it, probably your social media posts. People will tell you what they're looking for. And outside of things like, where's my tracking number? They will say things like, what's this dress made out of? How long is it? How much does it weigh? Is it washable? Is it whatever? That's the information you want to make sure that you are giving to people if they want it, right? So again, this is going to be very, very customer specific to you, but that is what Google is reading. That is what Google is giving you a relevancy score against and a quality score against, which is that did your customers get what they needed? The 2-click rule. This is, it's not hard and fast, but it's a strong suggestion. A person should get where they're going on your website, complete a purchase, download the paper, get a demo, whatever it is from you in 2 clicks. They should not be clicking all over God's creation. They should get there in 2 clicks. So if you have a website that is like 92 landing pages, delete them. What you have for content needs to be very, very prescriptive to the customer so that they get to the landing page, say, and they're like, oh, yep, that's the thing that I needed. And then they click buy, or they click like you choose a size and then they click buy, right? There should not be things where they can't tell and they don't know and they're looking around and it's confusing. You're not going to get a great score for that. I will caveat this and say that if you're like a clothing retailer where people probably want like 4 pairs of boots and whatever, this doesn't apply to you. The algorithm can see that people are meant to shop lots of pages and that's fine. So you're not getting dinged for that. This is if people can't figure it out. If they're like in the about me and then the our story and they don't know what's happening and like where's the shampoo and I can't find it and is it under hair? That is what you're getting dinged for. They need to be able to move through your system. Okay, so I want to play this game and you don't have to play it if you don't want to. I think it's super fun. You don't have to be on video if you don't want to, but you would have to unmute yourself. So the way the game goes is that I'm going to show you homepages, only homepages of websites that I've screenshot. I'm going to cover their logo and I covered the product name or a picture of the product if they had it. And you're going to tell me what the website does to sort of like internalize the stuff we just talked about. Does anybody not want to play? Everyone's still on mute. Does no one want to play? I love this game. Maybe? Let's do one. You do have to come off mute though, so I can hear what you're saying. if you want to play. The first one is just an example. It's super obvious and kind of a bad example, but it's to sort of like get into the mindset of what we're going to do for the game. So without further ado, what do we think this website is for?
Furniture.
Good guess. Anybody
Blinds.
else? Oh, good guess.
Interior design.
Oh, no one ever gets it. I've used this as an example for like 2 years. No one ever gets it. It is interior design. That's amazing. Congratulations to whoever said that. That's amazing. Normally though, so this interior designer has nothing on their homepage. This is purely their homepage. I didn't even cover anything for them. They didn't have a logo, they didn't have a menu. It was a beautiful website, beautiful photos, but zero information. So for the one person who did guess interior design, amazing. From everyone else who's ever looked at it and guessed things like lighting, furniture, florals, usually windows a lot because it's like a big window or like blinds. Those are just guesses because this photo has no context. So you don't actually know. And again, a search engine cannot read or see an image. So it's just a gray rectangle for a search engine, which means that this person has to pay a staggering amount of money to get traffic to their website. Okay, we'll dive into a real one. What about this one?
Some sort of drink, like not necessarily a grocery store, but somebody providing a beverage.
One of
Anybody
the non-alcoholic soda type things that I grab every single time I go to the grocery store.
Anybody else? It is no sugar soda. So it's like the healthy, like vinegar-based soda. So drinks is a phenomenal guess. And very close. It is a drink. What's happening here is that, one, again, these are all images, so there's no actual words that a search engine can read on this, which is an important call out. So things that are embedded, a search engine also cannot read. So that like dark green upper file is actually a movement file. So none of the words on that are being parsed. The sip into paradise is embedded in this image, so that also is not being read. And the bottom is like a cookie opt-in. So the only thing that a search engine can actually see on this website is the word shop, learn, and subscribe. And try old school classics. So it's not, if someone came here and they were really interested in this soda, which also did not come in tropical flavors, which is interesting. This is the landing page for the whole soda company. So there's a layer of like, what would I get here? And I think for like the Nana test, like when my grandmother get it, there's a picture of soda like underneath this circle. So maybe, but it is kind of like is this clear? If everybody was driven here from an ad, would they immediately be like, oh yeah, this is where I should go next to buy things from you. This is where I should give you money, right? What about this one?
A clothing brand, like an outdoor clothing brand.
Anybody else?
A traveling company, something to do with travel.
Good guess. Anybody else?
Outdoor shoes.
Good guess. Anybody else? It's yoga pants. This is a yoga wear company. Now, the thing with this, I think, typifies a lot of what happens with branding is this image is stunning. And their entire website is beautiful. Like the images are gorgeous. They're really interesting. They're cool. They're of cool places. There's no context though. These yoga pants are like sweat wicking. And that's why we're in the desert, like walking around, right? Like there's no actual, why would I give them money? And a similar thing to the previous website, the only words on this website are women, men. So when a search engine gets here, and technically the whole thing would be a gray square, a search engine is just like, oh, it's a website of women and men. Okay. And walks away. Like you don't know what the products are. You don't know what they're for. From a search engine perspective, this is nothing. And from a shopper's perspective, you might look at the image and be like, okay, I would look and click into your preferred gender. And you would maybe click around a little bit, but there's no real reason for being here. So this is often why a bounce rate is really high. Like if someone showed me an ad for moisture wicking double D sports bra, which is something that the company makes, and they make a beautiful, beautiful version of it, and I land here, I'd be like, oh, that's not what I wanted. And I would turn around and leave, right? This makes traffic very expensive because you have to pay for it. It also makes your ads incredibly expensive. So what about this one? Also, this is a recent ad campaign, so if you know the brand. Does everybody know the brand, or they just don't want to guess?
I don't know the brand, but I would guess like a Glossier type makeup brand.
That is a very good guess. It is a Glossier type makeup brand. It's Rhode. Same thing. This is actually a still from a video. The video of it's Hailey Bieber's brand. The video is of her carrying a box of Krispy Kremes, and it's shot from behind her while she walks up the street. So it's a video basically of her bum in a red dress, and then she sits in the car. The video is for her new lip gloss, which she made with Krispy Kreme. The video has no context, just a shot of her bum. The website also has no product information on it. So when we're looking at the only words, again, that can be parsed are shop, about, and futures. This Krispy Kreme strawberry lip treatment coming 8/28. This can't be parsed. It's sitting on top of video, so it's not actual text. So again, when Google gets here and they're like, oh, what's this website for? It's just a video file. She doesn't sell shops. She doesn't sell abouts. She doesn't sell futures. She does sell stuff. There's a checkout. So when Google looks at it, they're like, I have no idea what this is. And they leave. She's not getting credit for selling pretty popular lip gloss and other makeup and skincare products. And her website talks about her a lot, but it doesn't really talk about the products a lot. So a search engine gets here and is like, I don't know. And probably a person gets here, and depending on what drove you in, even if you came in for the lip gloss, if you land on the video, you're probably going to be a little like, that's not lip gloss. And you probably aren't going to purchase. All of that behavior is mapped. All of that goes into your quality score, going back into a search engine where they're like, nobody understands this website. We shouldn't give them traffic because it's a bad website. How about this one?
I want to guess this is Shopify.
Say website creator, like a page to help you make a website.
What makes you think that?
Future of your business, bringing your ideas to life, and then the free trial. But some sort of service.
Fair. Yes, you're correct. Actually, this is Shopify, so you are correct. There isn't actually any way to know that without having seen it, though. I mean, obviously, you guys guessed it. So some of this, I think, becomes like learned behavior. A search engine would not get that. So a search engine would get here and be like, it doesn't even say the brand on it. Like the only things that are blocked out are like Shopify may agree to you taking your credit card here. So like bring your ideas to life for $1 a month could mean anything. Could be like a t-shirt company, could be a pottery company, could be a website company, could be a hosting platform, could be a million different things. And also no one has Googled that. So when someone is looking for a hosting platform and a website provider, they're not typing in bring your ideas to life for $1 a month. And they're not typing in future of business is mine to shape, right? So like the query and the relevance to the query is really important. I think also that when I was updating some of these and I was looking for this, I wanted to put Shopify up, and I honestly thought I clicked the wrong link when I got on this. I'm like, what is this? I use Shopify for my clients and was still kind of like, this is a weird page. So important to know that even people seeking you need to understand what's happening when they get there. How about this one?
Is it a production company?
Good guess. Anybody else?
It's something supporting business owners to make their sales, I think, better, like how to improve sales as a business owner, entrepreneur.
Amazing guess. Anybody else? This is Shopify's actual homepage. And I fully agree with you that the production equipment and the person sitting on a couch doesn't really scream like website builder to me. It's a cool photo. And I think it's a pithy comment, making commerce better for everyone. But does it say like, let's build you a website? Let's make it easier. Let's like, what's the value of Shopify? Like the themes, making it easy, making it faster, like supporting the next generation of entrepreneurs could be literally anything. The world's biggest brands and everyone in between, again, literally everything. You just said people. We help people do stuff, which is great. But like, what stuff are you helping them do? I think this might be the last one. Nope. Okay, what's this one?
Like a shampoo, conditioner, hair studio type brand.
Yeah, I think hair salon.
That is an amazing guess. It is a spa. They are most known for their facials and their massages. They do have a hair salon, but they technically their services are massages and facials. So same thing, right? Like, I don't know what an urban oasis is. This is a picture of the lights of a hair salon. Am I going to get like relaxing, serene type of massage from this? Probably not. Probably I'm going to land here and be like, what am I looking at? And leave. And I will tell you that in some of them, I've covered up the product pictures. This one, I just covered up pictures of their logo, which was just a letter. So like even the logo probably wouldn't have helped you unless you knew the name of the salon. I think that one is the last one. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. This is what perfect looks like. This is a mock. This is not real. This is not what HubSpot's website looks like. But I was doing an example for a client, and I think it's usually good to show the difference between good and bad. Most people kind of recoil, I can't see your faces, but most people kind of recoil in horror from this one because there's no images and it's real text heavy and it's really kind of bland looking, right? Not what you think of when you look at a website. This is how customers shop. Customers want information explained to them. They want to land on as a homepage. They want to land on a homepage and be like, got it. This is the thing that I was looking for. I want a CRM platform for my business. Look at that. You said CRM platform for your business, right? Like, talk to me like I'm slow. Talk to me like you are just repeating back what I'm saying to you. The reason this counts as perfect is because the placement of each of the words that they use is exactly where their rank is. So a CRM platform ranks highest for the term software. Software is the first word in the first parsable place from a search engine here. A search engine is going to really validate the traffic because when someone says, I want CRM software, they're like, got it, CRM software. Here you go. Here's the correct answer. The second thing people query about CRM software is how much it costs. The third thing they query is how to use it. But specifically the word resources, specifically like what resources around using it. The fourth and fifth thing are free CRM and demo for paid CRM, which is repeated here. In this section, they explain the types of CRM: marketing, sales, content management, and customer service. Those also are very important keywords for a CRM system. So in this homepage, we are repeating to a search engine and to people that this is software. There's different types of pricing. We will explain how it works. You can get a free version or you can use a demo. It is for marketing. It is for sales. It is for customer service. That answers the top 10 questions that people have around a CRM system, and it does it all above the fold on the homepage. This is what perfect looks like. Probably you're not going to set up your website to be similar to this, but you want to close the gap between a Vori just having like a cool picture of a guy and something where the website actually explains it. So what you want to do to get traffic is get as close to this as possible. Go easy on your branding, go easy on the distractions. Make sure that at least that above the fold, the first third of your website is very, very, very clear on your value prop. Don't put new products there. You won't have time to rank. You want to get any credit for it. Don't put sales there. You won't get credit for it. You want to make sure that you are very clear in this section that you explain to people what the point of your company is and why you built it and why they should care. I think that is it. Key takeaways. Google does want to help you. They're not out to get you. They're not out to get your money. They don't want your ad dollars. They just want you to have a website that they can read. You should not be buying your traffic. 80+% of your traffic should be organic. I know that it's not, but that is a goal to work towards. You want to make sure that people are coming to you for free and en masse. Google wants that also. They want people to get there quick and easy. They want to be able to increase your rank as the more people find you and like you and convert with you. Your homepage needs contextual copy and needs to be actual copy. It can't be embedded in an image. No one can read it. Your navigation needs to be clear and actionable. That is only gonna be true if you sell lots of products. I mean, it does need to be clear and actionable, but like you don't sell a shop. So shop shouldn't be the most important word on your website. You probably don't sell about me's or our stories. That should not be in your navigation. You want to make sure that people are able to get where they're going. So your story probably is really important to you. This is the reason that you started the brand, and that is a beautiful and powerful thing. That is probably not why someone is seeking you out. So you want to make sure that we talk to their needs first before we talk to any other needs. And that, I think, is the last slide. Should we do questions? Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Please.
Thank you so much. This has been so insightful. I actually was like, this isn't what I thought I was going to come learn, but it's exactly what I needed to learn. So this is
Amazing.
good. And I'm wearing multiple hats right now because I work for a nonprofit and I'm an entrepreneur. So it's applying across the board. And my question is it's from the nonprofit seat. In 60 seconds, how would I apply all of this to a nonprofit website? I'm kidding, but I'm thinking about, we're literally in the middle of revamping our website, like final touches. And I just want to take some of the knowledge from this conversation. And our homepage has been the biggest, like, what do we need to make sure it has on there so that people know it's a nonprofit, but also don't like realize it's engaging. And so just wondering any general thoughts that you could offer about what you've talked about in a product sense to a nonprofit that offers more like services and community space, et cetera, et cetera.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. So the context that you want to have is the service and the community spaces from what your people would want. So the first place to start is, what would someone Google if they were trying to find us? Like, what's the question? What are they seeking out? Are they seeking out space? Are they seeking out time? Are they seeking out help? Are they seeking out services? How would Google know to offer you as an answer? And that you want to have like up and left. So you want it to be like, our mission is to provide people, and then fill in with what people want. And make sure that so when they land there, they're like, oh yeah, that's me. That's what I'm looking for. And you want to mirror it in the navigation. So you want it to be like, go here for community spaces, go here for whatever the services are, maybe go here for donations right at the end, because I'm assuming you want donors too. You want to make sure that the homepage is very clear to the customer. So when they land there, they're like, I'm in the right place. And the easiest way to do that, Google has a free tool. You can check it in Google Trends. So if you go to trends.google.com, you can type in query types and it will tell you how popular they are and like the actual phrases people used. It takes a while. You have to like click around a little bit, but it'll help you land on the language. And that's true for any service. So like, tax preparers, consultants, whoever, you want to make sure that you're speaking in your customer's language and that you don't have any videos on your homepage, even if they're good. Don't put them on the homepage.
No, but okay. Okay. We have one big, beautiful video. That's the biggest takeaway that I have actually. And we thought though that because of the nonprofit serves Black women, that coming to a page and very clearly seeing yourself on that page is the draw in. And so it feels like you're saying, even great idea, but no, still that doesn't work.
Still great idea. Videos are really heavy. So unless the video like is the clincher and is why people are there, the trade-off for traffic is normally terrible. Take the video down, but I maybe put an image up of the people so that people can see themselves, and maybe use the language. I will say that I've tested this not in nonprofits, but in brands that were very specific products for Black women. And often that isn't the keyword that people use. It'll be things like the service of the product. So imagery, I think, is really good there. Usually for people to see themselves, just recognize that the search engine can't see it. So you still want to put context. You still want to write out that you are doing services specific to this community who suffers XYZ thing. Like, we want to circle it back to how they're feeling, what they might need.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Katharine. This has been so interesting and insightful. My question is kind of twofold. I am in a travel service-based business, so there is an element of like visual, like that goes into it. So where do you suggest we integrate imagery? And my other question, I don't know if anyone else, I'm on Squarespace, which is not great, but when you say images embedded or text embedded in images, do you mean that any text that is put on an image isn't being picked up by Google, or it depends on your hosting site?
It doesn't depend on the hosting site. It depends on the type of file you upload. So the worst version is that you have a JPEG that has the words on it and you upload it as a picture. The second worst version is you tried to put the text box on top of the image. The search engine reads the image first. So you don't get credit for the words. You want it to be a physical text box, and you can put it on like color background if you want, but you don't want it to be like that you don't want the file stacked order to be like JPEG first.
Got it. Okay. The police, the Google police are out to get me because all my images have text
Everybody.
on top of them. Good
Everybody,
to know.
you're in good company. That is true of everybody. I will tell you though, the taking a video down and making images smaller. Also, I didn't put this in the presentation, but if you have an image that is not like a WebP image that is not like meant for online, they're probably really heavy. The heaviness, it takes up a lot of processing power. So if you can change out any of your images to a WebP format so that it's smaller and light, it's still good. It's crisp. It's nice. It will look very high res, but it's not like a fat file. It's like a nice, thin, fast loading file.
Interesting.
That one
Cool. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Anybody else?
I just had a quick question. So, because I know someone mentioned Squarespace. Like, what are your thoughts about using, you know, the like Squarespace, Wix, WordPress? Does that affect like everything you've talked about in this presentation, or do you have any advice on that?
It does affect it. Not a crazy amount, truthfully. It's kind of like picking a laptop. Like they're all fine. And if you have a very special thing you want to do, like you're a gamer, then you want a gaming laptop. But if you just like need a laptop, any laptop is probably fine. It's the same thing with hosting and website builders. Most of them are fine. It's going to depend on what you need it for. So like Wix is really for images. It's really like if you're an artist and you want really heavy high reg files and you're going to keep your site in like one long scroll, Wix is great. If you are a product seller and you're going to have 1,000 product pages, you need a site that's built specifically for commerce so that it will put the processing power there rather than loading an image. So that's really the only difference on their back end, is where they put like the effort in your website. Squarespace is fine. It's not the best, it's not the worst. You get a medium score. If you get big, if you need to expand into a lot more SKUs, you're probably going to want to move into a commerce version. If you end up deciding that you are going to be an artist and you want something to be very, very, very image heavy, you want to move on to one of those. But truly, Squarespace is like that very middle of the road version. Squarespace is fine.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I also closed the little box so I can't see the questions that were in the chat. I think.
You're good, Catherine. Everyone unmuted and shared their questions, so you're good in the chat.
Perfect. Also, sorry, it looks like I went over time. Sorry, I couldn't see the clock.
No, this was great. This was wonderful. Thank you for so much for all of this amazingly helpful and specific and thorough information. It was so helpful, and actually all the feedback in the chat was just how actionable this all was and helpful and informative. So thank you for that, Catherine. We appreciate your expertise so much. Oh, great question. How do we find you? How do we get in contact with you if we want to follow up?
Yeah, you are welcome to. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I did slide for that. Let me put that up there. You are welcome to email me, reach out, go on LinkedIn if you want. The website is Morphology Consulting. So the email is km@morphologyconsulting.com. The website's Morphology Consulting. All of my socials are Morphology Consulting if you want to reach out there. LinkedIn is fine too. Always happy to connect. I love DD people, so please come be friends with me. Reach out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Catherine. Again, this was just wonderful and so helpful. And thank you all for showing up today. It was great to see all of your faces. And we'll let you guys go. See you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.